Oh, all right. I've never seen one like that. This lobster's actually got a tag in its shell. Come on, dinner.
Come on.
Dinner shed!
Oh, look at that.
Paper bag. Oh, man.
That is so cool.
Welcome back. Another foggy day is upon us. We're hauling the traps up 5 traps to a time, looking for cool catches. We were hoping for keepers, but we just hauled one up and these are pretty empty. We're hauling a little bit closer to home today, the traps that we brought closer to shore. The fog is about as thick as it gets. It's equivalent to trying to work with a white 5-gallon bucket on your head. That's what it feels like sometimes. You can't see anything and you're trying to spot these little buoys out in the water. It's pretty tough, makes the day long. A lot of looking around, a lot of added time on each buoy. We haven't had much fog for the whole summer so far. We've been pretty lucky. Oh, she's got a barnacle. Last year was awful. We had fog for like 90 days last summer in a row. These barnacle pimple popping have been a big hit on short form content. It's a satisfying ASMR type thing. She had no knot, she's got eggs, there she goes. We're wandering around, we got 400 lobster traps to haul today. We're gonna go through them, hopefully catch some cool stuff, teach you some new stuff. Some of the stuff you may have already seen before, some of it you may not have. Either way, guaranteed to see something interesting along the way. We're currently hauling the traps that we moved up closer to home. It looks like we're a little bit early. The traps are empty. We're going through them, getting bait back on them, hoping for next time. I think it's a combination of us being early. We're not really that early. The lobsters are just late. This year is a weird year. Every year is different. Just as soon as you think you got the lobsters figured out, every year we try to take what we learned and apply it to next year, and then they just do something weird. You'll have 3 or 4 consistent years where you think you're onto them and you got a pattern, and then a year like this comes along and the shedders are just non-existent right here. They're 2-3 weeks late. But we'll get bait on them and hope for next time. We've hauled 20 traps already. We've got 380 to go. We'll see what's in store. There's another one with a barnacle on it, and she's got old eggs. You can see she has dropped most of her eggs. This is what they look like after they finish dropping their eggs. All these little hairs are what the eggs were attached to help hold them onto her tail. We'll give her a quick knot, get rid of these barnacles. These barnacles don't harm them. When there's only 1 or 2 of them on there, they don't really have any effect. They don't go through the shell, and the lobster will just shed here within the next few weeks and have a new shell, and the barnacles will be gone. The only time the barnacles can cause harm is when there's a ton of them. Sometimes we'll catch a lobster that's completely covered in barnacles. If a lobster goes a few years without shedding, the barnacles can actually take over its shell, they can take over its claw, its tail, and if they start growing in joints where they restrict mobility, the lobster might not be able to shed to get rid of them. The shedding process is the most stressful part of a lobster's life and what kills. That's ultimately the only thing that really kills them, other than occasional predators when they're young. But once they're larger, shedding is really the only thing that gets them. It takes a lot of energy, and the conditions have to be just right for them to have a successful shed. A shedder, if you're new, is basically the lobsters grow through a shedding process like a lizard or a snake. You can see this one hasn't shed for a long time. It's got really black claws underneath. It's a really hard old shell. Once they shed, they'll have a brand new shell. You can see this one's nice and shiny. How often they shed depends on how old they are. The older lobsters will go several years in between sheds. The younger lobsters will actually shed multiple times a year. Surprisingly, we don't actually catch many of them in the act of shedding. You would think that we catch more sheds in the traps, where the hard shells will climb in and shed in the traps, but we don't see it very often. It's a really crazy process. They actually pull right out through the split between their back and their tail. They pull their claws out through, and they come out a brand new lobster with no shell. They're paper bag. They're extremely soft when they first shed. It's a pretty crazy process. What's pretty crazy is where we came from was about 20 miles from here, and where we came from there was tons of eggers, tons of punch tails, and tons of shorts. We picked the traps up and we moved them over 20 miles, and we're in a new location now, much closer to home, and even up here there are still tons of eggers, tons of punch tails, and tons of shorts. These ones all just got done dropping their eggs. You can see all they have left is hair. We're catching multiple eggers, multiple shorts to a trap that all need punch tails. Some of them are already notched. We're also hammering the barnacles. These ones have a lot of barnacles on them. We can't give snacks to all of them. That's just something we've been doing for the camera, but since this one had barnacles, we'll make sure this one gets a snack. Hey, where are you going? Snack as big as she is. She probably won't even sink. She let it go. That was 5 V-notches out of those 5 traps. This poor little fella's got a hard start at life. He's got barnacles taking his claws over. Look at all of them. There's a big cluster of barnacles growing right on his crusher claw. Barnacles actually grow and reproduce through a shedding process similar to lobsters. They'll get bigger and bigger with each shed, and they actually reproduce with each other, reaching these little reproductive parts. Even these miserable foggy days like today, where things traditionally always would be tough and tedious, having you guys come along and show you guys and look for cool stuff has added some fun to the day. I have had so much fun on sharing all of this with you guys, and it's been a great addition to sometimes tedious job. I actually tried doing this years ago, making these videos myself on the boat, and it was super challenging because trying to run the boat and trying to run the cameras is two full-time jobs and they don't mix. My attention is so hard on the job at hand and doing it safely and getting everything done that trying to run the cameras efficiently was really hard to do on top of it. But you may have noticed we're now putting out much more consistent videos on the boat, and that's thanks to all of your support. For one, all of your likes and comments are ultimately what makes this possible, because it leads to sponsors and brands coming on to also help support it. So now, thanks to these sponsors of the videos, we're able to bring Jeremy, who you rarely see, but he's here, he's behind the camera. He comes along and he helps us run the cameras throughout the day, get these videos out to you guys. So the sponsor of today's video is actually Bombas. You've seen them in some of the past videos. They're a fantastic brand with a fantastic mission. It's a clothing brand. They got socks, underwear, t-shirt, slippers, anything you want. Head on over to the website and check them out. For every item you purchase on the website, they also make a donation to the homeless shelters and those in need. So it's a great cause and great clothing, for real. The underwear and the socks are fantastic. I haven't got to try a t-shirt yet. Cody got the t-shirt, he said it was awesome. They've donated over 100 million items to those in need, which is a mission that we really feel happy to support. It's a great brand that we're really enjoying partnering with, and again, that's helping make all of these videos possible. So if you want to show some support to Bombas for helping make these videos possible, and you want to get some clothing and help support those in need, head on over to Bombas now. The link is in the description. With that link, you can get 20% off of your first order. And know, again, that when you make that purchase, you're also helping somebody else in need. We still got 300 traps left to haul today, so we're gonna get back to it and see what's in store. We just caught a really interesting lobster. It's actually about to shed. His shell is starting to crack apart. Lobsters actually grow through a shedding process, but it's rare that we actually get to document it. We're gonna put him in a bucket out back and see if we can capture the whole shed on video. After they shed, they have basically no shell. They're super soft, they're just meat, and you can actually eat them just like that. So after he sheds, we might actually bring him home and cook him up for dinner, which would be super unique. Supposedly you can pop them in the microwave for like a minute. I tried this before, but it didn't work. The shell was a little bit too established and it was like a cardboard texture in your mouth. It was kind of weird, but this one should be able to do it since it's gonna be an extremely fresh shed with basically no shell. So we're gonna keep him in this bucket of water for the next few hours, but I don't suspect it's gonna take that long for him to shed. He's just getting ready to shed. He's already split his back. He's ready to go. We're gonna stick a GoPro on him and try to document the whole shedding process. It's such a weird thing to see. We are now halfway through the day, and there continues to be no shortage of eggers and punchtails and V-notches. We've done so many V-notches today. This year in general, this whole year, I've done more V-notches this spring so far than any other year by far. So many of them around. I don't want to say it too loud, but the sun is kind of winning the battle with the fog. On a clear blue sky day with no clouds, the sun and the fog fight each other all day, and it makes the fog even worse. At least on a cloudy day, the sun doesn't brighten it up, but today the sun shining in the fog makes it so bright, but it's actually causing it to scale up a little bit. Sometimes we'll luck out and the sun will actually burn the fog off and it'll clear off, but I'm not holding my breath for that. For the time being, at least we can see from buoy to buoy, which makes all the difference in the world. It sucks when you can't see from one buoy to the next. We've got 200 traps left to go. Let's see what we get. Just a few buoys later, we picked up this guy. Look at it. Pretty cool claw. We catch some unique claws. They kind of forget which direction to grow. I don't really know what the deal is with it. Something to do with the shed or maybe just an anomaly. I'm not sure, but he's got teeth. He's got an extra prong. The teeth going all the way around it. This one kind of grew off sideways. Funny looking. Still got a working claw. It works perfectly fine. Just got this little extra horn to impress the ladies. Another thing unique about it is it's actually half crusher and half pincher. The base of it is a crusher claw. You can see the bigger molars, but this prong that hangs out is a pincher claw. I haven't seen one like that before. Pretty unique. We're gonna see if Cody can get a band on it. It is a keeper. So you're gonna hold? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Here's a catch you guys might find interesting. We see them quite frequently. I can't tell you what the local name for them is, but you can use your imagination. It's some kind of sea anemone. Pretty weird looking thing. Oh, it's squirting. Watch out, Cody! It's squirting!
I didn't know if something was actually coming at me there. You jumped.
We'll just go with, we'll keep it PG. It's a sea butthole. Butthole. Sea butthole. That's what that is. Hot potato?
Hot potato.
We're gonna alley-oop all the way off the boat. I don't know if the camera will really do this one justice, but it's a really unique color, kind of light, and it's missing the pigment down on the bottom of the shell. You can really only tell if you compare it next to another lobster. Claws are real light. Usually they got a lot of grayish brown in them. This one's missing that. Here's a really funny looking lobster. Jelly claws, really soft. When they're this stage in regrowing, they're extremely soft. If you feel it, they have no shell. You can actually see how limp that one is. Take my strong hand. She's full of eggs. Somebody's already given her a notch, and she's in the process of regrowing 2 brand spanking new claws. I don't know if this one's brand spanking new. That one looks nice. This one looks kind of like me, and this one looks kind of like Cody at the end of the day. She's actually got a little bit of shell rot on her shell, where she's getting old. You can see how soft she is. This isn't because she's a shedder. This is just because of her shell disease. We'll get these barnacles off of here for her, hopefully without hurting her shell. And we'll give her a snack. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll give you a snack in a few years. She's also got a little curly cone antenna growing back. You see that? It's like an ice cream cone. Here she goes, without a snack. All right, here comes some free life advice for you guys. One for each of you.
I totally believe these things 100%.
Here's Cody's. A new business venture is on the horizon.
Hey!
What you got planned?
Well,
You holding out on us back here?
you'll know what I know.
All right, Tristan. A wise man knows everything. A shrewd one, everybody. I don't really get that, but I need one for myself now. All right, you guys can eat my cookie. What we got, Cody?
Anything you do it well. The last thing you want is to be sorry for what you didn't do.
I like that. That's nice. Jeremy, you might as well have a cookie too. See what your future holds. A cheerful letter or message is on its way to you. Woo!
Hey!
Cheerful letter is better than a sad one.
Beautiful shower.
Lobsters actually pee out of their face. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but on bottom, they'll actually pee in each other's faces when they're ready to mate. Look, Cody, she wants.
Weird taste to it, dude.
Is it salty?
It did. It's not even just salty. There's something else in there.
Sweet and salty? She's regrowing a new claw. She's got a fresh notch. There she goes. Cody, probably take her home.
Yeah, I mean,
This is an escape vent, and one of the hog rings is let go in it. The escape vents are held in with these biodegradable hog rings, and the whole purpose of these, they actually have 2 purposes. One is like a filter, basically. The small lobsters can climb out of the traps, so it's kind of a farm. The small lobsters can climb in the traps, they can eat the bait for free, they then climb to the back of the traps, and then they can climb right out. They have an endless food glitch on bottom until they hit 3 1/4 on their back, and then it's game on. But the vent also serves as a safety measure for if a trap ever gets lost. These hog rings rust away, and the door will open up and release everything from inside of it. We gotta replace the vents 3 or 4 times a year, so the hog rings last a few months. All right, we are at trap 300 and we're checking on our shedder friend, but he's not making much progress. He pretty much looks exactly the same as he did. I was hoping he was gonna shed on the boat. His back is starting to split. Not sure if he is gonna shed today. We're gonna continue monitoring him and keeping water on him. Hopefully we can document the shedding process. Super creepy looking. If he doesn't end up shedding on the boat, we might end up throwing him in a crate. That way we can at least get the experience of the paper bag cook. I've never actually got to eat one that was the day it shed. So I think if we leave him in a crate overnight, he'll definitely shed tonight. You can do it, little guy. You got this. He's like, why would I shed? I heard you say you're gonna eat me. It's like, I'm staying right in this shell. As long as I got this shell, you have no interest in eating me. So these traps are actually our oldest traps in the ocean. They're around 8 years old. They should have been retired by now, but I've been procrastinating it. So we're actually taking these traps up. They're gonna get placed on the boat. We're gonna bring them in, put them on the wharf. And on the wharf, we also just got some brand new traps delivered. We got 100 brand new traps. I don't even want to talk about the price tag of them. About 20 grand for the 100 new traps. We're gonna be setting them this week in place of these ones. So while the price tag hurt, it's gonna be so nice to not have to haul these old traps. These old traps, when they get this age, they got a lot of wire sticking off of them. We call them porcupines. They rip oil pants up, scratch your arms. The new traps are much easier to handle, make the day much smoother. So this is quite a bit of work to get them switched out. Kind of sucks, but part of the job. So all the rope is pretty old as well. We're cutting all the old rope off of them. They're going in the traps. These traps will get recycled. They'll get passed down. I'll probably sell them cheap at a discount to a younger fisherman that's just starting out. We might even use some of that old rope to make the keychains that we've been making to sell.
we got a tag in there.
Oh, all right. That's a weird tag. I've never seen one like that. This lobster's actually got a tag in its shell. There's a few different organizations that actually track the lobster migrations to try to learn more about them. We know very little about what these lobsters actually do on the ocean floor. As much as we like to think and say sometimes we know about them and we got them figured out, we have no idea. So there's a few organizations that try to track them to learn more about them. I've never seen one quite like this. Like I said, we've caught a few. We ended up getting a hold of those organizations and learning so much about them. We caught one last year that traveled like 160 60, 70 miles in a year. Came all the way up in from the head of Bay of Fundy. This one, hard to say, this one's probably got an equally as cool story, and luckily we can still read the font. It's almost worn off, but it says SW14161. The only trouble is I don't know what the organization is, so I don't know how to get a hold of them. This tag is weird. It's attached to the body, so it looks like when the lobster sheds its shell, the tag stays with it. So this tag could be with this lobster for multiple shed cycles. It could have been with it for a long time. This could have a really cool story behind it if we're able to get a hold of the organization that tagged it. But that's where you guys are gonna have to come into play. We need some help. You guys gotta share this video with some friends, like this video, try to get it to reach as many people as we can. And that's how we were able to track down the organizations in the past as well. We didn't know the organizations from those tags either, but they actually saw the video on Instagram, which was pretty cool, and they came back and found us. So give this video a share, and we'll see if we can find that organization, give them these numbers, and learn more about this lobster. She's actually got eggs also, which is cool. We might be able to learn from the organization if they had eggs, if she had eggs when they tagged her. Somebody's already notched her, so she's protected. We're gonna let her go. Then we gotta finish putting these traps on the boat, and then we gotta finish the day, of course, with the cornhole, the rock cornhole, which we're gonna have to do back in the harbor today because our cornhole holes are gonna be covered in traps. Okay, the final 5 are coming up, going on the boat and going home. These are the oldest traps that I've got. We built these traps when we renovated our first house shortly after high school. We cut these runners up out of ironwood on the porch of the house while we were doing the renovations. These traps are kind of sentimental to me. I guess that's why they ended up in the water so much longer than the rest of them. I might have to retire a few of them down at the cottages for decoration. Nice little codfish on the last 5 traps. Little whisker under his chin. Oh, easy, big fella. Holy, these guys make pretty good dried fish. They're not very good wet though. There's not much quota for them anymore. We can't keep many, but the few you can keep, we used to strip them right down the middle, flay them out, you lay them in the sun and dry them out. They're delicious. Sprinkle some salt on them. Some people might not think they're delicious. They don't look real appetizing, but they're good. Perfect backflip. Oh, maybe not. There goes the final trap. We got about an hour and a half ride in. We're gonna throw him out on the wharf, finish the day. We just checked on this little guy. He has not shed yet, but he's getting real close. You can see his tail is starting to separate from his back. His back is now split. I would say that he's definitely gonna shed tonight. So we're gonna put him in a crate, float him for the night, come back down and check on him tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, he's dinner. Then we got 3 piles of rocks. We're shooting for the hole in the back of the stern. It's basically cornhole on the boat, but we got wages on it. Whoever has the lowest score by August 31st is riding home from offshore on a tube behind the boat. Start your engines. Ladies and gentlemen, pick your piles. Here we are, rapid fire. Woo, that was close. We're getting our groups down.
Come on. Oh, well.
Whoa, watch out, Jeremy.
I'll actually close this up. The water helped you. Oh.
Swish counts as 2. Swish counts as 2. If it rolls in, it counts as 1.
Oh.
Oh!
Fuck, I'm going over the rail.
Isn't bad. Oh.
Alright, here it is.
Oh, we're getting close. Every one of them.
Oh, that one's out.
That was airball. That should be negative.
That rock was pretty light.
Oh, yeah. It's the rock.
I feel like thrown in.
Yeah. Oh, Cody!
Yeah!
Woo! Cody's on the board.
Yes!
All right, it's now the next day. We just finished up for the day and we're gonna check on dinner the lobster. We taking bets on if it shed? What's everybody think? Did it shed? I think it has to have.
I don't think it has.
There's no way it hasn't shed. Cody's trying to peek in the crate. Yeah.
Yeah.
He peeked in the crate. He looked in the side. He's like, yeah, I think it shed. All right.
Couldn't actually see anything, but that is my guess.
Come on, dinner.
Come on.
Dinner shed!
Oh, look at that.
Paper bag. Oh, man.
That is
That
so
is
cool.
So here is the old shed. You can see just how much it grew.
That's crazy.
Dinner the lobster.
Man, he looks tasty.
Headed home for dinner.
Wow.
They have no strength whatsoever when they first shed. Look at his claws. There's literally nothing there. No shell, nothing. So this is the remains of the old shell. He grew a lot. Pretty crazy, you know? How does that whole entire claw fit out through that knuckle? Oh, he shed the barnacles off too. So on bottom, they'll actually eat. That's probably why this is partially deteriorated. They'll actually eat these and get some kind of protein out of it that helps harden up their new shell. Kinda, I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit bad for dinner. That is really soft. I don't really know how I'm gonna go about eating them, but we're gonna give it a try. I'm pretty excited. I feel a little bit bad for him, but I gotta remind myself he's no different than any other lobster. He's just soft. Now, again, to elaborate, there is literally no shell. So when we cook this thing, there's gonna be no picking. Usually you gotta pick the shell, pick the meat, but this one, there's not gonna be nothing. So we were gonna wait till we got home to cook this thing up, but we just finished pogeing and we figured what better chance than the present to try it out. We've actually got a microwave on the boat. We're gonna go throw this claw in. We're gonna microwave it and try to eat it as is. The lobster's name's Dinner.
Is it a male?
It's a male and it's Dinner. That's his name.
Dinner?
His name's Dinner.
Right now we're gonna call him Lunch.
Lunch, okay. Yeah. We changed the name from Dinner to Lunch. If we let him go, he's a perfect keeper. He's gonna crawl out here and catch in a trap and somebody's gonna sell him. So we might as well enjoy him as a celebration for lunch. We're gonna go cook this claw. All right, so before we bring Dinner Lunch down to the microwave, obviously we can't put him in there live. So we're gonna do the humane thing. We have dispatched Dinner and he's headed for the microwave. Let's go try him out. Well, Dinner the lobster's looking kind of sad. I don't know why I feel more bad for this than I would. I mean, I've cooked more lobsters than most people have probably. Cooked a lot of lobsters and for some reason, I don't know, the paper bag is pulling my emotion strings for some reason, but here we go. I don't think it's gonna take very long. The one other time that I did this, I only did about a minute and it worked fine, but there was too much of a shell the last time I did it. I couldn't, almost a cardboard texture. This one is more of a skin texture. So here we go, let's see what happens. Poor Dinner. Sorry I had to do this. It's starting to turn red. It needs a little more though. All right, moment of truth. Let's see what we got. We did about 2 minutes, maybe a little over 2 minutes. I think there's too much skin there. It still feels very skinny. The tail's not red. Oh, but it's firm. I think the tail's done. All right, let's go try it. Yeah, I don't know about this. I think we might have ruined a perfectly good lobster. Dad, that claw's for you. You gotta try it, skin and all.
Good.
Is it? Is it good? I dropped it in hydraulic oil.
Go down, brother.
You want to try a leg?
I'll try the leg.
There you go.
Say the legs look like the best part.
Eat the leg and all.
There you go.
Crunch is like a chip, right?
Not bad.
Is it actually?
Not bad.
Cody, you're gonna try a leg?
I ain't even got enough to chew it with, but we'll try it.
Who's gonna be the real
Who's gonna win between the lobster and Cody? How is it?
Hey, it tastes fine.
I think Jake needs to eat the tail.
Yeah,
Let's check the tail out.
and take a good old bite.
Yeah, you need to eat the tail.
All right, we're gonna try the tail. I feel like we're gonna have to pick the tail though. I don't think the tail is cooked either, to be honest with you. That's as raw as can be. That ain't done. We're gonna go pop the tail back in for a second and check.
Jay's going after the toe marrow.
Gee. This is what Jeremy Nick would be like.
I don't know if it's any good. No. That ain't the answer.
Try it, Cody.
I usually have it on the rich crackle.
It's slimy.
Nah, that is slimy. That is very slimy. You don't need teeth for that stuff.
I didn't need teeth for that one, buddy. Slipped right down, no problem.
All right, here goes the claw. This one doesn't look
It's
bad.
better than the leg.
You did?
He's just
Hey.
very tough.
I mean, man.
That was just like a piece of beef jerky when he tried ripping that.
The meat's good, the skin's horrid. Picking it's easy at least, and it's raw. The claws aren't cooked either. The microwave didn't do a very good job. Maybe we should just avoid microwaving lobsters.
How long did you put it in there for?
Maybe we should go
2 minutes. Here you go. We're gonna put tail back in. The meat's good. It's a little undercooked, but it's good. All right, looks much better now. It's red all the way through. This actually looks like a real tail now. Look at these tail chips. Look at that beauty. I'm not joking, that's actually pretty good. Who wants a tail chip? It's not terrible. It's kind of terrible. The aftertaste, the first crunch was good. It's not bad.
Tail chip?
Tail chip. It was all right at first, and then it kept getting worse. The tail, I can tell. We can't eat the tail. It has skin, so you can't eat it like we thought.
No.
You definitely still have to pick it. I bet this tail's gonna be good. This tail's fine. This looks like a tail that was just steamed. Technically it was steamed. The microwave is just, you want a science lesson? You know how a microwave works? It makes the water molecules just vibrate back and forth and go crazy, and then the friction cooks stuff. Yeah, that's how a microwave works. So all the conspiracy about them being bad for you is supposedly not true. According to Neil deGrasse Tyson. So if you guys don't believe me, take it up with him. Here we go. Just as good as any lobster I've ever had. That's actually worth eating. As good as, yeah. You wouldn't know it was microwaved, would you? No piece? What do you think?
That was good.
It's just as good as anything.
That's good.
That's crazy. Microwaved. Who'd have thought you could microwave one?
Wow, I actually really got that tail.
You can't even tell it's microwaved. Here, you ate all the junk. You might as well eat something good.
Good for packing out tomatoes.
Does it have like a tangy taste in the aftertaste?
It is something different.
Spicy, like there's some kind of spice at the end of it.
Oh, that's the pokies.
The hydraulic oil?
That wasn't so salty, that tail was a claw one.
No, that's excellent.
Nothing wrong with that.